Well, I am Eli Caterer, guitarist in Smoking Popes and assorted other musical projects.
Yes.
I have chosen today to talk about Fugazi's first record. But, I mean, the first time I heard it, it came out in 1988, so I'm pretty sure I wasn't even 13 yet when it came out. I was 12, because my birthday's in October. Well, I have two older brothers, and that plays a really significant part in all of my musical taste and musical listening in my life. And I'll give you a really brief history of how we got into punk music, because it relates to Fugazi, of course, which is how I knew about them. But we have a cousin, Brian Bowie, who lives in Flint. Our family's from Michigan, and meaning my parents. And so my oldest brother got his first punk records from Brian, our cousin Brian. So we got into the Stooges and MC5 and all the California punk stuff, Black Flag, Circle Jerks. And that's like when I was a kid. Like I was in elementary school listening to the Dead Kennedys. And we discovered Minor Threat, probably when I was in junior high. And Embrace, which is a great album. Because we lived in like Lake in the Hills, and there was a dance club in like Schaumburg or something that might have been formerly like a laser tag place. And he heard Palehead, which is the Ian MacKaye, Al Jourgensen project. But so we knew about Fugazi when the first album came out because we were into Minor Threat. So last year I started buying up all the Fugazi reissues and fell in love with them all over again. But I didn't buy the first one and Margin Walker yet until you got in touch with me, and I bought a copy of this record for my 15-year-old nephew for Christmas. My brother and his family, they bought record players. They got like 2 or 3 record players in their house now. I bought the record player for my nephew and bought him some records. And so for Christmas I thought, well, essential listening, Fugazi's first one. Duval, this band with my brother Josh, we were playing in Texas at Emo's, which is a place that has like a big stage out back that's kind of outside and a small stage inside that's like the Empty Bottle. And we were playing the late show, and we showed up, and Fugazi was playing the early show out back, and I got to see them for free. So, and I remember very distinctly all the Fugazi shows I saw them at. I worked one at the Congress as well. They played two nights there with Shellac and the X. And they had all the local labels come and set up tables. I was working at Touch and Go Records, so I worked the table selling Touch and Go Records and got to see all those bands, which was great. But I'm really struck with a lot of different aspects of the album, having played music, thinking about my 12-year-old self. I just had never heard anything like it, because it's not punk music. I mean, there's an attitude in it that's punk, and some of the singing has a certain attitude about it that's punk. you know, the kind of yelly singing, and the lyrics are kind of like that. I guess when I say punk, I think of a lot of what I learned from punk music and its lyrics were from like Dead Kennedy stuff, which is like promotes critical thinking, really, like question authority.
Yeah.
Basically question stuff. Don't just like accept everything that's told to you. I still think about the song Suggestion quite a bit, and what an impact that had on me as a young man, that, you know, women are not objects. I mean, I think that's like a pretty profound thing to put out there in that very articulate way.
She does nothing to deserve it. It looks just her cause he wants to observe it. We sit back like they taught us. We keep quiet like they taught us. He wants to prove it. She does nothing to remove it. We don't want anyone to mind us. We play the roles that they assign us. She does nothing to conceal it. He touches her cause he wants to feel it. We blame her for being there.
But then the music is like such a crazy mix of different styles. I listened to that in Margin Walker today and was really struck with these elements of like reggae and dub kind of that are in there, that come out more overtly in some of the later stuff like Red Medicine, but it's there from the beginning. There's so many different elements in their music that profoundly affected me. The mood in their songs, especially the Guy songs, are real moody, and the earlier ones are less structured than Ian's, you know. And the feedback, the guitar playing, that's something that has really stuck with me, is to be a rock band where you jam, but you don't do it in this overly self-indulgent way, where they're not playing guitar solos. They're not playing indulgent guitar solos ever in any of their songs, really. It all serves some kind of purpose. It's a melodic riff, or it seems to serve the song in some way. And when they jam, it's like with feedback, and it's not guitar soloing. And that's pretty great. I mean, there's enough people doing guitar solos, and I love self-indulgent guitar playing. But it's refreshing to, you know, hear a band just do something a little different. I mean, he's a great guitar player, I think. I mean, really huge influence on me. Even though I play in a punk band and I listen to punk music, a lot of modern stuff I haven't listened to, or there's just a lot of different kinds of bands, punk bands specifically, where it lacks dynamic and real mood. Like they're writing these kind of formulaic punk songs, and some bands more than others. Some bands are pretty creative, but they just get these fast beats going on, and there's no mood to it. They're just kind of singing these lyrics over this chord pattern, and it changes between a couple parts, and even with the melodies in the songs sometimes. And then the Guy stuff has just got this crazy attitude, and I don't know if swagger is the right word, but there's something, that style that he has, that it's just so nobody else has it.